Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a loop? Like no matter what you try, you keep facing the same problems, the same struggles, just with different faces and places? I know exactly how that feels. 5 years ago, I was working 70-hour weeks, jumping from one business strategy to another, constantly hustling, yet my bank account told the same old story. I was exhausted, frustrated, and completely stuck. What if I told you the reason nothing changes isn't because you're not working hard enough? It's not because you haven't found the right strategy or because you're unlucky. The real reason is something so fundamental yet so overlooked that once you understand it, everything, and I mean everything, will start shifting in your life. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I promise what I'm about to share could be the missing piece you've been searching for. This is the mirror principle, the understanding that your external reality is simply a reflection of your internal world. And unlike most transformational concepts you might have heard before, this one actually works, but only if you're willing to face something most people avoid: your own reflection. Are you ready to see what's really been holding you back? The principle explained. Let me tell you something that might sound simple, but is profoundly true. Reality is a mirror that reflects two critical relationships: your relationship with yourself and your relationship with the world around you. Here's what most people do wrong. They try to change their circumstances while keeping the same internal story. It's like putting on a new outfit but keeping your old identity. Let me make this super practical. Remember when I mentioned my own struggle? For years, I held a deep-seated belief that success requires constant struggle and there's never enough time or money. Guess what my reality kept showing me? Exactly that. Constant struggle and never enough resources. I was working harder than anyone I knew, yet I remained stuck. One evening, after another 14-hour workday with barely anything to show for it, I had a breakthrough. I realized I wasn't seeing reality as it actually was. I was seeing it through the lens of my beliefs. The mirror wasn't lying to me. It was faithfully showing me exactly what I kept telling it to show me. This is crucial to understand. The external world isn't happening to you. It's responding through you. It's reflecting the movie playing inside your mind. Now let me ask you something. What movie is playing in your mind right now? What's the story you tell yourself about money? About your abilities? About what's possible for someone like you? Because I guarantee, and I mean this with absolute certainty, that your current circumstances are perfectly aligned with that internal story. The good news? Change the story and you change everything. The 4 keys to reality creation. There are 4 fundamental keys to working with the mirror principle that I've discovered through years of personal experience and guiding thousands of others. These aren't theoretical concepts. They're practical tools that create real results. Key number 1, identity and worldview. The first key is understanding that your reality reflects both your self-concept and your worldview. In other words, who you believe you are and how you believe the world works. Let me share a quick story. Last year, I worked with James, a freelance designer constantly undercutting his prices despite having extraordinary talent. His clients repeatedly asked for revisions, paid late, and generally didn't value his work. When we dug deeper, we discovered his core belief. I'm not quite as good as the designers I admire, so I need to charge less to compensate. Can you guess what happened? His reality perfectly mirrored this belief. His clients treated him exactly how he secretly believed he deserved to be treated. Within 2 months of shifting his identity to "I'm a premium designer who delivers exceptional value," everything changed. His pricing doubled, His client behavior improved dramatically, and here's the crazy part. He started attracting clients who actually appreciated revisions less. Same person, same skills, completely different reality. All because he changed his internal mirror. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, if your current results are reflecting your current identity, what identity would create the results you actually want? Key number 2, consistency despite circumstances. The second key, and this is where most people fail, is maintaining your new identity. Despite what your current circumstances show you, here's the trap most of us fall into. We decide to adopt a new identity, let's say as someone who easily attracts wealth. We feel great for a day or two, maybe even a week. Then something happens. An unexpected bill arrives, a client cancels, our investments drop, and we immediately revert to our old identity. Then we wonder why the mirror principle doesn't work. But it is working. It's perfectly reflecting your inconsistency. I remember when I first started applying this principle to my finances, I committed to embodying an identity of abundance and wealth. 3 days later, my car broke down with a $2,000 repair bill. My first instinct, total panic and thoughts like, I can never get ahead. But instead of going back to that old pattern, I paused and asked myself, how would someone who is wealthy respond to this? Not with panic, but with calm problem solving. It's just a circumstance, not a reflection of who I am. That single moment of maintaining my chosen identity despite contradictory evidence created a pivot point. Within 2 weeks, I received an unexpected opportunity that more than covered the repair costs. The key insight? Your current circumstances are reflecting your past identity. They're the delayed manifestation of who you were, not who you're becoming. So ask yourself, can you hold steady to your new identity even when everything around you seems to contradict it? Because that's when the magic happens. Key number 3, focus on what you want. The third key is understanding that the mirror reflects the content of your thoughts, not their nature. What does this mean? Most people focus on what they don't want. I don't want debt. I don't want this job. I don't want to be lonely. And then wonder why they keep getting exactly those things. The mirror doesn't understand don't want. It only reflects what you're focusing on. Think of it like this. If I tell you don't think about a blue elephant, what immediately pops into your mind? A blue elephant. The same principle applies to reality creation. Maria, a client of mine, was constantly complaining about her toxic workplace relationships. For months, she'd begin and end each day thinking about how much she disliked her coworkers and boss. We shifted her focus completely. Instead of thinking about no more toxic relationships, she started focusing on supportive, collaborative relationships. Every morning and evening, she visualized positive interactions. Within 3 weeks, no joke, just 3 weeks, 2 of the most difficult co-workers transferred departments, and her boss began implementing team-building activities that transformed the culture. Speak with conviction. Here's the powerful truth. Energy flows where attention goes. When you focus on what you want rather than what you don't want, you redirect the entire mirror. Take a moment right now and identify something you've been complaining about repeatedly. Now flip it. What's the opposite that you do want? That's your new focus point. I promise you'll be shocked at how quickly things begin to shift. Key number 4, the mirror cycle. The fourth key is understanding and breaking the mirror cycle. This is the game changer that will transform everything. Here's how most people operate. They observe their current reality, which forms their identity and worldview. This identity creates their thoughts and emotions, which the mirror faithfully reflects back as more of the same circumstances. And the cycle continues. Observation, identity, reflection, repeat. It's like being trapped in a hall of mirrors, each reflection creating the next with no way out. This is why people jump from strategy to strategy, hoping something external will change their internal reality. But here's the breakthrough. You can interrupt this cycle. Instead of letting your observations dictate your identity, you can consciously choose your identity first. When I finally understood this, everything shifted. Instead of looking at my bank account and letting that determine how I felt about myself and money, I decided to start with a completely different identity, regardless of the number I saw. Every morning I would look in the mirror and tell myself, I am someone who creates value effortlessly and attracts abundance naturally. Even when everything around me contradicted this, I held firm. Here's what's crazy. Within 90 days, my income had doubled. Within a year, it had increased by 5 times. Not because I was working harder, but because I had interrupted the mirror cycle. I challenge you right now. What identity would you choose if you weren't limited by your current observations? Who would you be if you knew the mirror would eventually have no choice but to reflect that back to you? Practical application. Let's get super practical. How do you actually apply the mirror principle in your daily life? I'm going to give you 4 simple but powerful practices that I still use every single day. Practice number 1, morning identity priming. The first practice is morning identity priming. This takes just 5 minutes but sets the foundation for everything. Here's what you do. Before checking your phone or email, sit up in bed or find a quiet spot. Close your eyes and ask yourself, who am I choosing to be today? Not who you were yesterday or who your circumstances say you are, but who you're choosing to be. Then create 3 to 5 powerful identity statements. Mine include, I am someone who creates extraordinary value effortlessly. I am naturally magnetic to opportunities and resources, and I make decisions with confidence and clarity. Repeat these statements while feeling the emotion of already being this person. The feeling part is crucial. It's not about the words, it's about the embodiment. When I first started this practice, I felt ridiculous. But within weeks, I noticed people responding to me differently. One client even said, there's something different about you. You seem more confident. Nothing external had changed yet, but the internal shift was already creating ripples. Practice number 2, reality reframing. The second practice is reality reframing. This is how you maintain your chosen identity despite contradictory evidence. When something happens that would normally trigger your old identity, let's say an unexpected expense or rejection, pause and ask, how would my chosen identity interpret this situation? For example, if a proposal gets rejected and your old identity says, see, you're not good enough, your new reframe might be, this creates space for an even better opportunity that's more aligned with my value. I was recently outbid on a dream property I wanted. My old identity would have spiraled into, I always miss out on what I want. Instead, I reframed it. The perfect property for me is being protected until the timing is right. 2 weeks later, a property that was even better became available at a lower price. The reframe wasn't just positive thinking. It kept me aligned with my chosen identity, which kept the mirror reflecting the right energy. Practice number 3, evidence collection. The third practice is evidence collection. Your brain is naturally wired to find evidence for whatever you believe. Each day, keep a small journal or note on your phone where you record evidence that your new identity is accurate. No matter how small, write it down. If your chosen identity is, I attract abundance easily, maybe you found $5, got an unexpected discount, or received a compliment. These small confirmations build a new neural pathway that makes your identity more believable to your subconscious mind. Every night before bed, I write down 3 pieces of evidence that my chosen identities are true. On difficult days, I might have to get creative, but that's the point. It trains your brain to filter reality differently. Practice number 4, visualization with feeling. The 4th practice is visualization with feeling. This isn't just seeing what you want, it's feeling it with your entire body. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day in a quiet space, seeing yourself already living as your chosen identity. The key difference from traditional visualization: focus 80% on the feeling and only 20% on the images. How does it feel in your body to be this person? What emotions course through you? This feeling state is the actual magnet that attracts your desires. I visualized giving a TEDx talk for months before I was ever invited to do one. When the invitation finally came, I was so prepared internally that the actual experience felt like déjà vu. The mirror had simply reflected what I had already created internally. Real-world transformations. Let me share a few real transformations I've witnessed through this principle. Not to impress you, but to impress upon you what's possible when you truly apply this. Sarah's financial breakthrough. Sarah was a talented therapist who perpetually struggled to fill her practice. She charged less than her peers and still had trouble finding clients. Her identity? I'm still building my reputation, so I can't charge what others charge. After working with the mirror principle, she shifted to, I provide exceptional value that transforms lives, and clients are grateful for the opportunity to work with me. The first month was challenging. She actually lost 2 potential clients, which almost sent her back to her old identity. But she maintained consistent morning priming and reality reframing. By month 2, something shifted. She raised her rates by 40%. And instead of losing clients, her schedule filled completely for the first time ever. By month 3, she had a waiting list. The mirror had perfectly reflected her new internal belief system. Same skills, same market, completely different results. Michael's relationship transformation. Michael had a pattern of attracting partners who were emotionally unavailable. No matter how many dating apps he tried or how he changed his approach, the pattern persisted. His hidden identity. I need to prove my worth in relationships. Through applying the mirror principle, he shifted to, I am complete within myself and attract equally whole partners who value connection. The transformation wasn't immediate. For the first 2 months, he actually had fewer dates, which initially seemed like failure, but he was breaking the old cycle. When he did meet someone new in month 3, the dynamic was completely different. For the first time, he found himself in a relationship based on mutual appreciation rather than validation seeking. The mirror had reflected his new self-concept back to him in the form of a completely different relationship dynamic. My own business breakthrough. I'll share one from my own life that still amazes me. For years, I struggled with feast or famine cycles in my business. I'd have great months followed by terrible ones, creating constant anxiety. My hidden identity? I have to hustle and control everything to be successful. When I applied the mirror principle, I shifted to, I am a channel for value that flows easily and consistently, supported by the right people and opportunities. The first test came during what should have been a busy season, when suddenly everything went quiet. Past me would have panicked and started discounting services or working 16-hour days on marketing. Instead, I doubled down on embodying my new identity. I actually took more time off, trusting in the new pattern I was creating. What happened next still gives me chills. Without any additional marketing, I received calls from 3 ideal clients who had been referred by people I hadn't spoken to in years. Each one represented the largest contracts I'd ever signed. That was the end of my feast or famine cycle. The mirror had reflected my new trust and ease back to me as consistent, abundant opportunity. Now, I want to address the 3 biggest obstacles you'll face when applying this principle, because knowing them in advance will help you push through when things get challenging. Obstacle number 1, impatience. The first and biggest obstacle is impatience. We live in an instant gratification world, but the mirror operates with a delay. Here's the truth. It takes time for your new internal state to override years of contrary programming. The delay between internal shift and external manifestation is where most people give up. When I first started applying this principle to my health, I maintained my new identity of, I am naturally vibrant and energetic for weeks with no noticeable change. My energy was still low, and I still had the same physical issues. Just as I was about to give up, thinking, this doesn't work for health issues, I had a random conversation that led me to a specialist who identified an underlying condition no one had caught before. Within weeks of the right treatment, my energy transformed completely. The solution to impatience is time binding. Tell yourself, I commit to maintaining this new identity for 90 days, regardless of external evidence. This prevents your primitive brain from abandoning ship too early in the process. Obstacle number 2, unconscious contradictions. The second obstacle is unconscious contradictions, beliefs that directly oppose your new chosen identity. Even as you consciously choose a new identity like, I attract abundance easily, your subconscious might hold beliefs like, money only comes through hard work, or wealthy people are unethical. These contradictions create static in your transmission to the mirror. The solution is belief excavation. Take your chosen identity and ask, if this were completely true, what would also have to be true? Then ask, do I fully believe that? For example, if I attract abundance easily were true, it might mean value can be created without struggle, or I deserve wealth without sacrificing my well-being. If you find resistance to these supporting beliefs, you've identified the contradiction. Work on that specific belief first before trying to embody the larger identity. Obstacle number 3, environmental contradiction. The third obstacle is environmental contradiction when your surroundings and relationships continue to reflect your old identity. If you're shifting your identity around money, but everyone in your life constantly talks about lack and limitation, you're swimming upstream. The solution isn't necessarily changing your environment immediately, though sometimes that helps. Instead, create an identity bubble, a daily practice of surrounding yourself with content, ideas, and even brief interactions that support your new identity. This might mean books, podcasts, online communities, or even just 15-minute coffee chats with someone who embodies what you're becoming. When I was transforming my wealth identity, I created a morning routine that included reading stories of ethical wealth creation and listening to interviews with people who had the mindset I wanted to develop. This created a bubble of reinforcement that protected my new identity until it was strong enough to withstand contradictory environments. As we bring everything together, I want to leave you with 3 final insights that will help you integrate the mirror principle into your life permanently. The reflection. Delay first. Understand that the mirror has a reflection delay. Your current circumstances reflect who you were, not who you're becoming. Think of it like this. Your past identity created your present circumstances. Your present identity is creating your future circumstances. The gap between internal shift and external manifestation is the delay. This delay isn't a design flaw. It's a feature that tests your commitment. Anyone can maintain a new identity when results are immediate. The masters are those who maintain it through the delay. What I found is that the delay period is often proportional to how deeply ingrained the old identity was. A pattern you've held for decades might take months to fully transform, while newer patterns can shift in weeks or even days. Identity over strategy. Second, understand that identity always trumps strategy. Most people spend 95% of their effort on finding better strategies and only 5% on their inner state. The masters flip this proportion. They spend 95% of their effort on maintaining the right inner state, knowing that from this foundation, the right strategies naturally emerge or become obvious. I've seen this repeatedly in business. Two people can implement identical strategies with radically different results. The difference? Their inner state while implementing. The person operating from lack and desperation repels opportunity. The person operating from confidence and clarity attracts it, using the exact same external steps. Continuous evolution. Finally, understand that this is a continuous evolution. As you grow, your identity naturally expands. The mirror principle isn't a one-time fix. It's a lifelong practice of consciously creating yourself, and by extension, your reality. Each new level of success or fulfillment will invite you to shed an outdated identity and embrace a larger one. I still spend time every single day refining and expanding my identity. It's not because the principle isn't working. It's because I'm continuously evolving what I want to create. And that's the ultimate power I want to pass to you today. The understanding that you are not a fixed entity struggling against an indifferent world. You are a conscious creator in constant dialogue with a responsive universe. The mirror never lies. It cannot show what isn't within you, and it cannot hide what is. Your task isn't to change the reflection. It's to become the person whose reflection you want to see. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to know which of the 4 keys spoke to you most powerfully. Share your thoughts in the comments below. This is just the beginning of what's possible when you understand how reality actually works. In our next video, I'll be sharing the specific morning routine I use to maintain these states consistently. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss it. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, the world around you is changing at precisely the same rate that you are. No faster, no slower. The question is, who are you becoming? I'll see you in the next video.